Scandinavian Bob here, hi. I sometimes get asked the question, can porn addiction hurt your body too and not just the brain? And I'm going to give you my thoughts on this, but let me start by sharing a really short story from back when I was trying to overcome my porn addiction that leads to the answer. This is so dumb, I thought, taking another drag from the cigarette. It was in the middle of the summer in 2015 and I was just a few days after my last relapse. And there I was, standing on a small gravel road, looking out over the endless fields. Everything was calm and quiet. The birds were singing. As I stood there, taking in the beautiful landscape, I could feel my dopamine levels inch up from the nicotine. A mix of pleasure and shame washed over me. If it's not porn, then it's alcohol, I thought. I watched a small bird that had landed 5 meters in front of me and took another drag from the cigarette. And if it's not alcohol, then it's junk food, I continued. I stubbed out the cigarette on the ground, making sure it wouldn't start a fire. And if it's not junk food, then it's cigarettes, I said out loud to myself as I started walking home. After a little while, a black pickup truck came driving towards me. Now, since I'm not really a smoker and only do it occasionally, the nicotine made me feel a bit unsteady on my feet. At least I felt a little unsteady on the inside. So when the car came closer, I stopped and pretended to tie my shoelaces. I didn't want the driver to notice me wobble as I walked, just in case my slightly unsteady walk was visible from the outside. Why am I doing this? I thought, but I already knew the answer. Officially, it's called transfer addiction. Yeah, so transfer addiction is a phenomenon where abstinence from the original addiction leads people to seek an immediate alternative. You know, some instant gratification for the brain that calls out for its dopamine fix because your dopamine levels are so low. And for me, that summer month in June, it was cigarettes. Now, I managed to get rid of my smoking habit pretty quickly, but since I struggled with relapses to adult content for over 7 years, I did fall back to them quite a few more times during those years. So here's the answer then. Porn addiction is not directly as bad for the body as alcohol addiction or heavier chemical stuff. Of course not. But I would estimate that at least more than 50% of people who try to unhook from porn fall into the same trap as I did. Maybe not with cigarettes, but perhaps with some more comfort eating, a few more drinks, choosing video games instead of doing their normal physical exercise. And of course, all those decisions are, to be honest, bad for your body. Now, I don't want to scare you, but since I always want to be real with you guys, I have to say that there is, in fact, one direct way it can hurt your body as well. If you look at the screen now, you can see the main 4 brain changes that happen in all addictions, no matter what you're addicted to. Now, I'm not going to talk about them all today, but I'm going to point to the last brain change here, because that one is highly relevant to today's subject. Yes, all addictions cause a hyperactive stress center in your brain. And we all know that long-term stress can be directly bad for your whole body. Yeah, so those are the 2 ways a porn addiction actually can be bad for your body too, and not just your brain. So please share in the comments section below if you have noticed this transfer addiction phenomenon, because that will make the comment section more interesting and helpful for all of your rebooting friends. And speaking of these 4 brain changes, if you haven't already, I highly recommend you watch a video series I made here on YouTube where I talk about all of these brain changes one by one and what you can do to help reverse them. You can see that video series on the screen right here. So just click on that right now because it will be super helpful for you to discover more about this. This is Scandinavian Bob signing out for today. Consider subscribing for more. And as always, I wish you all the best on your journey to become a dopamine-focused warrior.